Hello everyone, welcome to a VOD review for Overwatch 2. I haven't done one of these in quite a while. In fact, I only did one really for Overwatch 1, and it was doing one of my mates' VOD reviews. They hadn't really played Mercy a lot, so I was like giving them tips on like how to play Mercy. This one is actually one of my own VODs, and I kind of want to make it so I can like do VOD reviews of other people's stuff. I just unfortunately don't have the time to do that right now, but I had a really good game on Route 66 where I feel as though I made a few mistakes, few other things. I thought I lost the footage, but I don't. I have it, and it's like all good. I'm doing this as a Twitch stream on my alt account, so I don't really know how to edit that well either. So it might be that it's not that good. But this was a GM3 game. As you can see, I'm currently ranked 324th on the EU servers for console at the moment. This is the game here. It is 23 minutes long, and I don't remember a lot of it because it was like 5 days ago that I did it. But essentially, the aim of this VOD review is to kind of like get you guys to also kind of think about how you're VOD reviewing as well, right? Because I see a lot of people asking me for VOD reviews, or I don't know what I'm doing wrong and stuff like that. I feel as though I'm going to kind of talk through how I do my own VOD reviews. And this might end up being like an hour and a half long. I don't know yet. But I spend a lot of time, if I kind of sit there and I think I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I always go to my VOD reviews. I pick a game that I feel as though I did average in, or maybe like slightly above average, and I have to look and be like, right, what am I doing wrong? So I'm gonna kind of like talk through what I think I can improve on at the same time, because I know obviously I will still be making mistakes in these matches. I'm still getting used to the new movement still as well, because I haven't really played the game that much because of uni work and stuff like that. But let's get into it. So this was a GM, like a high GM game. Like this was like GM 1, 2, 3. We had quite a lot of like good people. We had a few people who play keyboard and mouse on console, which I think is a bit scummy, but you know, is what it is. So here I am. I'm using my Seal Bloom skin. That's not how you pronounce it. I know. I'm sorry. I can't remember how you pronounce it. So let's just skip ahead a little bit, and we'll get started. So just before I start, I'm gonna have a quick look at the teams, right? Because I see a lot of people not knowing like who they want to damage boost and stuff like that. As of recording this, Sojourn is probably your best damage boost target out of them all, even over Ashe. And the only reason that I would touch my Ashe with a damage boost here is to damage boost her Dynamite, right? With Sojourn, she's just so strong with the Mercy Pocket, that one-shot ability that Ashe doesn't have. She used to, and then obviously it got removed, and now Sojourn, at the current patch of where I'm recording this, Sojourn has her one-shot still, so it means Mercy is really, really strong. I have a bat, which will mainly just be focusing on our Arissa here, and it'll just mean that I just need to help him out every once in a while. So, just waiting for them to kind of come back from spawn here. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm kind of like situating my beam on my Ashe first of all. I'm basically just kind of like putting my beam on whoever is peeking at the time. And I'm playing a lot on like these stairs here. How do I toggle the POV? There we go. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to like learn some of this stuff. But as you can see, I'm playing like quite far down here. And the reason for that is I don't want to peek any of this, right? Because the key tip for Mercy is the more you are like basically you should try and spend the minimum amount of time as you can in the LOS of enemies, right? The reason why I'm holding gas station here and not up here is because we don't know whether they have a widow or not, but obviously they do. And we don't want to kind of held like up close and they just like snipe us out spawn, because you know. So it's like really good to hold this gas station here as well if you ever want to hold somewhere. It's really good to kind of hold this high ground, although you will have to drop when it gets to about here. But yeah, so let's go back onto me and we'll carry on. So I'm just kind of like trying to damage boost whoever's, you know, there. I think I missed the damage boost on that Dynamite, but it's okay. My Soldier's kind of AFK at the moment, so this is why I'm damage boosting my Ashe. Damn. And once again, I'm still playing these stairs. I do not want to peek whatsoever. I noticed that my Sojourn's gone and she calls out that there's a Tracer on her, right? So this is where I try to look out for it. I'm trying to help her with it. I'm not dropping yet though, because I don't want to get involved with this Tracer. And also I might still be needed up at top. They're asking me if I can go for the res at this point, I remember, and I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to get that res off. They were like, can you get that res? And I could just see, like, this is the reason why I didn't go for this res, right? There we go. I have a Widow that's staring right into my sights there. And obviously, even if my Orisa did push up to like here where she was and body like kind of body block for me, there was because they could just easily just get me because it's in here. And they were like, why are you resin? Why are you resin? And I'm like, look at that. There's absolutely no way I'm gonna res with that. So I think I made a really good decision here in order not to do the res. So I kind of just like have to play off to the side here a little bit. I end up getting attacked a bit by Tracer, and I feel as though this is kind of the first point that I can really have some better movement. Orisa gets split here, and I don't think there's really anything that I could have done to kind of help her there. She just gets very split from the rest of our team, and there's no point me trying to cross there because I'm just going to get hit by the Widow or Zen or something like that. So I'm just kind of trying to damage boost. And I get caught out by the Orisa spin. I should have seen this come in, to be fair. So this is kind of like a thing that I should have made aware of, because she starts like pushing me forward. I should have just not tried to go in here because she's just going to trace me down, and you know, I should have really tried to stay with my Sojourn and done something here. So we'll just carry on for a sec. And I end up dying to the Widow because I decided to go super jump into the thin air because, you know, typical me thing to do, I guess. But yeah. And then I think we all do fall over to this Widow at this point. At this point, while I'm respawning, and this is a really good thing to try and do while you're respawning or currently playing, is to kind of like look up who your team have left and whether you need to quickly rush in to see if it's contestable or not. So I'm just going in to kind of help my Widow. While the doors are still shut, I'm alright to cross there, but then once these like doors have opened there, I do not want to cross that place whatsoever. So I'm putting a damage boost on my Widow here, because I thought that she was going to go forward a little bit. I'm just going to help out my Orisa because I know my Bath isn't back. And then I just go up to my Sojourn here, because obviously Sojourn is still my main damage boost target. I would never recommend pocketing a Widow unless the opposite team has a pocketed Widow themselves. It's just not going to get you any value, especially when you have a Sojourn and stuff like that on your team. The only reason why I would pocket a Widow in this very scenario is if my Sojourn was literally doing nothing and my Widow was absolutely carrying the entire thing, then I'd be like, oh, we'll try and keep her up kind of thing. But yeah. So as you can see, I'm still trying to look behind for her. Just flying away from the pulse before I quickly go and readjust myself back to where I want to be. I'm just kind of helping damage boost. Once again, I'm still playing like very off to the side. I do not want to play out in the cover. I'm playing as much to the wall as I can. The Orisa ult, and I decide to Valk here. The reason why I decided to Valk here is that we've got a pick with the Widow. And also the Orisa ult, I can help like heal a lot of people out of it kind of thing. Like I can help get people out of it because not a lot of people are low HP, but obviously I do want to try and keep up the HP and we could just use it. I do make a mistake here, and I know what I did. Because what I should have done is gone, like, around the back to get everyone in the room. Instead, I decided to sweep forward. And I think it kind of puts me in a lot of, like, a riskier position than what I should have done. Really, I should have gone around the back and healed everyone from the back. But I'm just kind of, like, focusing my, like, main, like, beam onto whoever's, like, you know, taking a lot of damage. Here I'm pinging for this Zen, just to let my people know. But once again, I'm playing so far away from my Sojourn. I don't want to be anywhere near this danger. This is why I'm literally playing all the way up here. I am not in any LOS of any of these guys. I'm so far away. I'm above the high ground for Tracer. Because with their comp, I want to play up away from the Tracer to avoid like getting shot from them. But at the same time, I don't want to be playing up and out in the open. So, for example, a Widow can shoot me, right? So, like, this rock, like, covers my head really, really nicely, and I'm able just to kind of help. I'm trying to damage boost as much as I can. And I'm just healing her up, like, to maximum as soon as she's done. You don't need to heal people up to maximum, like, at all, really. This is the one part, and I don't really like pocketing people on this part, because I really do struggle with, like, if people decide to come from the other side. We get commed that they are going to come from there, and my kind of main aim here is just take an off angle with my Sojourn. As you can see, I'm still keeping an eye on my team, as you can see. You can see me, like, I'm focusing my whole entire vision on looking at my team here, apart from obviously when I've turned here. But the entire thing, I was focusing my vision on here. Why is that? Because you have a health, as long as you've got your beam on your Sojourn, right, you can see the like health bar on your screen. And you can see how they're doing kind of thing. So while she's still healthy and not really taking any damage, sure, I'm flicking just to see her, but my main focus is looking at my team and seeing, is anyone going to get dove by the Tracer? Because my initial thing is I will need to, especially if my BAP or like my Widow, right? Because both of them two are quite susceptible to the Tracer. So it's very much like that, but yeah. So she starts to take damage. I noticed there's an Ashe there, so I kind of like don't want to play there. My Widow asked for heals at that point, so I was like, oh, let me just peel back and help her. Once again, going straight back to my main damage target. Still playing very out of the LOS and out of the way. Go back to go and heal, and I use a backwards GA in order to, well, like a directional one, really. And once again, she's not full HP, but I'm damage boosting all the way up until she gets eliminated. Just to get that extra damage boost in, you want to try and just damage boost as much as you can, really. We got told that the Tracer was going to recall, and I looked for the res here, right? But as soon as I saw all of this coming from spawn, because I didn't know how long it would take for them to respawn, and then I just remember getting a glimpse of them, and I thought, if I try and res in here, I'm going to get dove by that Widow, I'm going to get dove by that Zen, the Kiriko can TP on and just Zuzu them and stuff like that. I was like, nah, there's no way. So obviously, best bet, just turn back, go back to my team, try and win a 4v5 now. And that's exactly what I do. And I go straight to my Widow here. The reason why... And I can res her under the cover as well, because she ends up dying to that. So I saved my res as well really nicely. The reason why I'm with my Widow here is they've switched to a D.Va. And the D.Va's gonna like try to really hard dive my Widow, especially like at the start of fights and stuff like that. So my main kind of thing is I will be sitting with the Widow until my Sojourn gets back. I'll be trying to damage my Orisa as well, but mainly just trying to stay with my Widow. So once she's kind of like not in a good position, I go to like default beam to my thing, my Orisa. I see my Bap getting dove, so I'm like, oh, let's help her, and then my Sojourn ends up getting dove. Once again, trying to play as far away as I can as possible. I'm trying to get to my Widow here. That with directional GA could have been a bit better. What I wanted to do with this directional GA was I wanted to get to my Widow and then do a directional GA all the way up to here. This is the issue with my movements at the moment, is the fact my directional GAs aren't really the best, and I'm still trying to work out why that is. And I think it's just because of map geometry and stuff like that. And then I'm just kind of trying to help my Sojourn here. We're going in really, really deep here. I'm trying to help her get all these people. While this is going on though, my Bap does die, and so does my Widow. I don't think I could really do anything different here, because your whole point as a POC is, you know, your whole job as Mercy is to pocket DPS, right? And if you see your pocketed DPS wanting to go in, you have to help enable them, right? And you kind of just have to put trust in your team. And it's the fact that we got so split off. There was literally nothing I could have done there to help my Bab or help my Orisa or my Widow, really, unfortunately. So I do Valk here, and I think this is a bit of a dodgy. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this in a sec. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this. It's like, all of that I did was completely wrong. I completely wasted a Valk, and I also decided to res someone for no reason, and now I'm just going to give my Sojourn another death. Like, I'm going to go back to the Valk. Can I rewind a little bit? Yeah. Let's go back to the Valk, right? This one I Valk? Yes, okay. I decided to Valk here. My thought process at the time was I would be able to reach a beam onto the Orisa, right? But everyone is focusing my Orisa now because, you know, you have to think, right? Nobody's focusing me and Sojourn. We have 2 people dead, and we've only killed their Widow, which is what me and Sojourn end up doing. So essentially, it's a 4v3, right? But everyone is on my Orisa, and I didn't know how weak my Orisa was, but then I should have thought she would have been quite weak because our Bat got picked off and stuff like that. It was a really, really stupid Valk from me. I feel as though I kind of made good use of it, which I'll show in a second. But it was just a really bad Valk. Like, I always try to use Valk in order to engage team fights or maybe like help save a team fight if it looks winnable. And with this one, it was just a really bad call from me. I remember thinking in my head when I did it, I was like, that's such a bad Valk. But you know, it is what it is. And I go in to go install here because in Valk, especially with the new movements and stuff, you can make yourself so like hard to hit in Valk. So essentially our whole job here as me and Sojourn is to stall at this point as long as we can. Because especially if they get it up to the end of the map, we want them to have as little time as possible, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And then my Sojourn goes in and dives on point, right? I want to be nowhere near this whatsoever. And with Valk, I'm able to do... I could have done this maybe like without Valk, but use my Valk anyways. Gonna make the most of it. And essentially, I just want to play above here, right? I do end up healing her a lot, but it's because she has a Discord orb and she's critical, right? Throughout the entire thing. There is no way I'm going to be able to flick a damage boost beam onto her without her falling, sadly. And then this is my second mistake. Instead of just using the last bit of my Valk in order to kind of stall it out, I decided to go for a res. Now, my thought process at the time was, oh, we're getting people respawning, and I think I misjudged how long people were going to take to respawn. Especially because it's a little bit of a trek from this point in order to get up to this window. What I should have done here is I should have used the rest of my Valk in order to like make myself really like unpredictable for like the last few remaining seconds and then just died on point. That's, you know, because I'm not going to get out there. I should have just maybe got on my pistol and just kind of moved about a little bit. But instead I go for a res, I end up staggering my Sojourn because of this. And I felt really bad when I did it because I was like, I didn't mean to whatsoever. But anyways, it's fine. We move on. But it's like a big mistake of mine. So at this point in the VOD review, if you kind of like thought about stuff that you've done wrong and stuff like that, then it's very much like make notes of it and stuff, where it's like, okay, this is what I've done wrong so far. So with me, for instance, I've had a few positioning mistakes, as in like movement mistakes kind of thing, where my GAs haven't gone off to how I'd like to, and then obviously I made a mistake with the Valk there, and I made a mistake with the Res as well. Overall, I don't think it's anything like massive, apart from obviously little mistakes and stuff like that, but really you should be kind of looking out and probably thinking, am I damage boosting enough? Am I doing all this kind of stuff? So anyways, we'll carry on. So I'm just kind of heading back here. The reason why... Yeah. I'm going over to my Widow here, right? Because he's still on the Tracer. And the Tracer is most likely, in this scenario, going to be going for our Widow. And usually Tracers like to kind of come at the start of fights and stuff, especially because she would have known I was respawning and she wouldn't really have anyone to peel for her. This is why I didn't bother going all the way over to my BAP and the wrist, stuff like that. They were very healthy and I wanted to go and help my Widow. So what I do here is I go to damage boost my Widow whenever the Tracer is not doing anything kind of thing, and I heal her up while she's not. And I do switch to my Sojourn. She sadly dies. And I'm looking for this res right now, but I can see this Tracer's waiting for me. And I do not want to get one clip by this Tracer, right? So I'm having to wait with my Widow. I do end up doing it and getting it off, but it was with the help of my BAP, right? It was a very, very risky res from me. Since I knew they were going to divers and stuff like that and everything. And I can't remember what happens at this point. Let me just replay it through. I think we do get Sojourn out because of our BAP's lamp. It's a very, very good lamp. Tracer ends up getting taken out, so it means I can kind of like flow about a little bit more freely. I heal my Rissa a little bit, because obviously I'm scared of her, kind of what's it called. And then I'm just using a back push GA just to keep my distance away from my Sojourn. Now they have sights here. I do not want to peek this whatsoever. I do not want to give my Widow a sight line. So I'm just going to play very much out of her LOS now. Focusing my Sojourn, because once again, she's my main damage target still. I do make a mistake. I shouldn't have super jumped that high. I have a really bad habit of like continuously using the super jump, because I like to use it in order to keep height around corners and stuff. But I feel as though I always end up doing one too many, if you get me. So it's like I'll stay there for like a little bit too long. It's something that I, you know, need to focus on and stuff like that. But I'm just kind of playing the corner here. I'm playing as much of max beam length as I can here, because it's like they have the Tracer and they have the Widow sights. I don't know what to peek any. Oh no, sorry, they're on Sojourn now. I think I thought at this time they were still on Tracer. But I mean, my Orisa just gets absolutely melted there. I don't think me or BAP being able to do anything there would have absolutely helped. My BAP's already used lamp. If I GA in and out of there, I don't think it would have helped save her whatsoever, because she had a Discord orb. It was a headshotted railgun along with sights. So we just need to back off here. I'm just kind of playing this pillar. I do end up kind of getting a little bit like stuck in this corner bit, I think. I'm just kind of want to play this pillar, keep everyone up, before I can able like to rotate out quite freely. And I'm just playing my cover as much as I can. This is what I mean with my position, with my movement again, right? Because I feel as I played it really well. I played it in the lamp, right? Which is what I should be doing there, because the lamp is going to give me some extra cover, extra space. And then I go in to try and help my Orisa, because obviously she's the one that's contesting cart. Sadly, I can't really do anything about it, and I also want to get away from this diva that's currently diving everyone, and I want to go and help my Widow. And this is what I mean. I get caught on the boxes, like, here. And it's what I mean with my thingy. Like, imagine if a Zen hit another shot on me, or that Widow actually hit that shot on me, I'd be dead there. 100% dead. Because I get caught on these boxes. So once again, it's like another, like, movement thing. I'm just kind of staying where I am for the diva bomb. I'm once again going to try and help my bat. Can't really do anything here, so I just go on to point, stall it out a little bit longer before I die. Nothing really could do there. The Widow's got the high ground and can just freely do anything there. So overall, I don't think I played too badly. There was a few positional mistakes, I feel like super jumping where I shouldn't be, like doing the little mini ones that I like to do. And obviously the res and the Valk from earlier. I'm just going to skip forward a little bit further on. But at the same time, I think I did some really good things. Like, I feel as though my beam priority was really, really good. It's just sad that they have a Widow that's on keyboard and mouse against us. So it's very much, I have to play as much like physical cover as I can, which is what you should be trying to do as Mercy anyways, right? Because if you have physical cover is always going to be there. If you GA from physical cover one to another, you know, it's going to be the safest way that you could play Mercy. So I'm just kind of moving my way around, heal up my Sojourn, and then I just go to damage boost her. I noticed that my Kiriko is getting hit, so once again just go and peel for her before I go up to go and pocket my Sojourn. Once I hear the, because you can hear a Sombra hack, right? I could hear it in my left ear, and I know my Tracer's there, so obviously go and peel for her. I'm looking for the res here, but I don't want to do it until I've helped my Tracer, right? Because if I just go off to go and do that, my Tracer could have easily died to that Sombra, you know? I want to help my team as much as I can before I go and, like, you know, do something, not so much like do something selfish, but do something for myself, you know? I feel as though whenever you go for a res, you have to really assess the situation and think, is anyone in my team going to die while I do this? Or if they do, is it worth me to res them over that person? I'll give you an example, right? Say you have 2 DPS, right? You could go and help one that has already used their ults, or like is nowhere near their ults, or your Sojourn's just died and she has overclock and she's in a good res spot at that very specific time, right? That point, I would weigh it up and think, maybe I should res the Sojourn, and then if your cast does die, you still have the Sojourn ult, right? In that scenario, I was already with the Tracer, so I need to stick with my Tracer there. Help her out, and then I could go for a nice safe res. I'm using the max like range that you can have, which is like around like 5 meters. I'm doing it also like around here because I do not want to, I don't want to do it like around this corner, right? Because I don't think I would be able to get it off, and also there's a clear sight line there, so I'm just doing it with as much cover as I can. Gosh, that actually looks so broken looking at it in that perspective. How like far away you can actually res from. But yeah, because I know a lot of people are debating about res at the moment. So I go and like flick my beam to someone else while the person's being res, because if you just stick in your beam on a person that's been res, it's not really going to do anything. I only found out where the Widow is there, so I'm using a lot of like crouch spamming while I'm in her LOS. Just to kind of make my movement unpredictable, right? Because if I'm just stood there, like, completely just normally stood there still, she's obviously just going to headshot me, right? So if you can, especially because I have crouch on my right stick, and I have the one where it's like you have to hold it down if you want to, like, stay crouched, right? That's the setting that I'd recommend anyways. If you're playing on controller, obviously you're playing PC, I know settings are very different on there. Try and make it so, like, you crouch spam a little bit, jig yourself about a little bit, make yourself harder to hit. And then make sure once you get an opportunity, move to a place of cover that you can, which is obviously for me underneath this gas station. The window ends up getting taken out, and now I want to play under here like as much as I can, or like try and like only really go and peek when I need to, right? So here I'm kind of like helping. I do end up getting caught out by the Tracer, which I think was a really bad mistake from me. But then I'm just kind of playing very much away. Once you kind of see a Tracer, you want to try and play as max distance away from her or get height, right? Now, I don't want to get heights here because they're all on the gas station, right? And I'm not going to be able to get enough height, right? So I decided to play lower, and I decided to play as far away, like pull myself as far away, but still at max beam length as possible to get away from that tracer. And then I hear that they're having trouble on cart. Hear little boss just being recalled, and then I can go and damage boost someone. I go to damage boost my tracer because obviously I heard that she was in there, and now I can go back to my main damage boost target of my Sojourn. So again, I'm playing far away. I'm not peeking this like area until I need to, and then even now, like I'm being very cautious whether I can see people. And once I start to see people main, I decide to rotate round. Once again, playing this cover, the enemies literally cannot see me whatsoever here. And it's something that you should really be trying to do. And my Sojourn dies here. I can hear the D.Va diving onto me, right? And there's no point in me trying to go for that res, because if I do, I'm just going to die. Even if my Kiriko has like a Zuzu there for me, which I didn't know whether she did or not. So I was like, I'm not going to risk it. Just go back to the point. And I just go to damage boost whoever's doing damage at this point. I can't get into my Tracer, which is good, because obviously, you know, I feel as a Tracer's very low on the priority list for damage boosting here. And then because we're at quite long distance here, I damage boost my Kiriko a bit. Don't be afraid to damage boost your support, seriously, especially if you have like a Baptiste or an Ana that's got a really good sightline of people. You know, just for spam damage, like Zens, for instance. I always say this, like if your DPS can't get a good angle and you have a Zen that is, you know, charging up a shot, always try to just flick your beam onto the Zen when he has a charge shot. It's all like little like damage boost things, you know. And then I'm just kind of, once my Sojourn gets back, put my beam back on her, because she's going to be my best one. I shouldn't have rotated there. I don't know why I did it. I think it's because I expected my Sojourn to, like, go round here for whatever reason. I don't know why. But it put me in a really bad spot, because I did take damage. Imagine if that was a headshot. Blech, dead, you know? I needed to play on this side instead here. Because I could see that she was sliding across as well, right? You have to really value your life a lot more rather than you risking your life in order to pocket people, right? Which is something that I did wrong here. I should have fully just stayed here, played this, and then helped her here. But anyways. Which is exactly what I do there, right? And I'm using my wall peek in here. This is something that I don't see a lot of Mercies doing, right? If you go behind a wall, your beam stays connected for like 1.5, 1.6 seconds. It's quite a long time. So essentially, you can really abuse this, and then once you re-peak the LOS of the person that you're pocketing, it resets the timer, right? And so I'm doing this in order to keep attached to my beam to Sojourn, whilst also playing a very, very nice piece of cover, right? And then once she gets a little bit too far away, I can see the Bastion's going into his turret form. I can't rotate nicely here, but I still want to support my team. This is why I use my Valk, because I want to try and help my teams push in a little bit here. I'm going to go help my Kiriko. She's very weak. I'm helping my I help my D.Va there instead of my Sojourn, right? Because my Sojourn's getting dough, but she's not really weak yet, and my D.Va's diving someone else. If I can get like a damage boost beam onto my D.Va, it can help get that extra damage. And then once my Sojourn, you know, once I'm able to like to get my Sojourn, I can do, right?
It's go time. 2 down.
So here I'm just kind of like wanting to play like towards cartways. Once we kind of like cleared up the fight like this, there's not really any point in me going forward. You know, no need for me, so I might as well just sit on the cart. And I could just try and like damage these people as much as I can from the cart. And then this is just a bit boring moment with me, just, you know. You know, just stagger the baby D.Va a little bit. My D.Va's now like blocking there, so it's alright, but once again, I still want to push this payload in. Because if you can get like 3 people on cart, it pushes the cart so much quicker than if you have like 2 or 1 people on. And we don't want them to get a recontest, right? Because if they manage to get a recontest here, we're going to have to repush this entire section again, like all of this. And it is so hard to push through here, especially when they have widows and stuff. It is so hard to push through this second section, right? So we just want to get this capped and want to get this done with, sorted, you know, bish bash bosh, done. Which is exactly what we do, right? And then back onto my damage boost target of my Sojourn. I shouldn't have gone so far in there, but it's because I wanted to get the beam onto the Sojourn because it was like trapped by the D.Va. But it's alright, because obviously nobody was there waiting for me. But imagine if someone was. You know, it's the Widow thing again, where it's just I'm playing really weirdly. Although, to be fair, I don't really know what else I could have really done there, to be fair. I'm trying to get, like, thingy of her, but there's no way. And then, with reses like this, right, I always say, always ask for help, right? So I could see that my Sojourn was going to die, and I basically come to my diva. I'm like, please, can I get a DM, right? Because a DM is going to help take any of that damage, right? I didn't know whether he had hook or not. I'm going to be fully honest with you. And that's probably something I should have tracked in my head. But always ask your team for resources with a slightly riskier res, right? Especially with the Roadhog being there. If the Roadhog wasn't there, I would be like completely fine with that res. But I was so scared of that Roadhog. I was like, please. But yeah. So once again, I'm just trying to play out of way. I'll heal up my diva a little bit. And then I noticed that my Sojourn backs out. I think she wanted to slide up to the higher ground to take an off angle, but I don't think she really made it. Oh, sorry, I clicked forward. Because this is a nice part. Just kind of heal up diva like a little bit. Once again, this is kind of like Kiriko's job. I'm just kind of healing her up while I'm away from my Sojourn. You know, when I can't put a beam on my Sojourn. Put your beam on someone. Just try and get something done. I got really, really lucky with that. I'm going to be very, very honest, right? This is what I should have done in this scenario. What should have happened is I would have gone for the res straight away because I hesitated and then thought, let's go for it. But already at that point, the Honor that was stood here and the Roadhog have then logged on like, oh, she's resing. You know? I should have done it instantaneously and then found a way out, right? And I just didn't. Like, I still get away with it because my diva's really good and did end up, like, DMing me and stuff like that. And obviously I got out. But, yeah. I don't know what else I could do differently there because I wanted to help my Kiriko out because my Kiriko was, like, really, like, negative. And then I wanted to go help my diva, which is why I did the backwards GA. But sadly, she just ended up getting, like, ripped up by the pole hog and stuff like that. And now I'm kind of stuck, like, where I don't want to be. So I just go and rotate round to my Sojourn. Whenever people get stuck with a Cassidy sticky grenade, by the way, I always default to a heal beam, right? Because I can't remember how much damage the Cassidy sticky bomb does, right? But if a Cassidy, it's a sticky bomb and I think it's like a body shot, your DPS character is dead, right? So if you could try to heal while the sticky grenade's going off, even if they hit another shot, I believe you can make it so they do outlive it, or if they don't miss the shot and stuff like that. It's just a quick kind of tip there, where normally you want to damage as much as possible, especially because they're high HP, but that sticky grenade is going to wipe them down to like 75 HP or something. I get anti here because I'm playing too close. Once again, I should be playing off here a little bit. But it's not that big of a deal kind of thing. But it was just because she got sticky grenaded and she was like going into this room. Really, I should be playing a bit further away from her so I don't end up getting hit with the anti-nade. But it's alright, we're just going to sit it out for a sec. Heal her up when it's over. And then just going to help kind of take this off angle. And then this Valk here, right? I know exactly where the Widow is, right? And I don't want to fly out. Because if I fly out, my head's going to get taken straight off, right? So I can just use my Valk here and help my team. This is why I have Valks. And as you can see, I can just help support my team from like a far distance. I'm trying to damage as much as I can, staying in this room. And then I kind of just GA out once I know the Widow's gone. And then I'm just going to help hold the spawn door with my Sojourn. If they would have come in, I would have like come up to like the platforms just like there where like the rotating ones are. There's like a little platform you can stand on. I'm gonna go up there. But yeah, absolutely abuse like the extended beam lets with Valk and just play. Don't use it to fly to the skybox. Like, there's no point doing that. Use your Valks to play from a nice place of cover that's quite far away. You know, still play safe, still do all that. So I believe we get to defend again, right? So once again, it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna be playing this like gas station, although I believe my Sojourn goes ahead after what I've just seen just then. Yeah, my Sojourn decides to slide up, right? So you can do some really nice like small like GA bounces around this corner just to kind of help whoever you're damage boosting. Once again, they have a Widow, so I don't want to peek that whatsoever, and then once she kind of rotates round, I could just rotate back round and then just help her from here. I decide to rotate back to the stairs when I hear the Widow grapple round, and it's because if I'm still stood here and the D.Va dives us and then I decide to make a rotation, it puts me at risk, right? So I much prefer to play these stairs, play out of the LOS again. So much nicer. My Sojourn just dropped. I should have maybe stayed up on the high ground here, but it doesn't really matter. This is a really good use of the backwards GA here, right? I use it to go and help top up my Tracer because I didn't think my Kiriko would have LOS. And obviously I want my Tracer to get straight back into the back lines, right? I could do that while my Sojourn's pretty healthy and not getting like dove by anyone. I can see my D.Va's kind of like quite weak. I do put my beam on her for a second. I can res really nicely under that cover. The Sojourn just divers, but I've got my D.Va there to protect me, right? I'm just trying to get my beam onto the Sojourn. Just trying to help my Sojourn here because essentially we're kind of very split again. But I'm kind of putting my trust in the Sojourn and we're going to get something done. I do a backwards Jane or it's like distance myself away just because I don't want to be like really close to this cart whatsoever. I think I should have looked around a little bit more here because I was very tunnel visioned and I should have really looked about over here because as you can see my D.Va is getting really weak and also my Kiriko is kind of struggling with healing her. And I only really notice it at this kind of point, which is when my Sojourn decides to dive up. I do get a hit on like my beam on her and I do end up kind of helping heal up my Sojourn. But then I should have gone to have a look at everyone else because she's out of mech. So I feel as though that might have been avoided if I looked around a lot more. You know, it's awareness with Mercy. With Mercy, because her whole kit relies on her having game sense rather than aim. Like essentially with Mercy, you sit back and you observe, which is what I really like about Mercy, right? With Mercy, your whole point is to sit back, observe, and take in as much information as you can and make decisions on what you should do, who you should damage, who you should heal, if you should GA to a certain place or not, depending on that situation, right? And if you're not looking about and you're completely tunnel visioned onto who you're blue beaming, which is exactly what I did there, then you're not looking about enough, you know? If I was looking about, I would maybe be able to save my D.Va a little bit. I don't know. But I'm just kind of playing this pillar. We decided to drop in. I just like want to drop as soon as I can, right? Because I do not want to be an LOS of that Widow. We do end up getting it to overtime. And at this point, I just completely backwards GA myself onto the point, right? I'm near my Valk. I might as well just die on point because there is absolutely no point in me trying to get out or stagger my... Because if I try to get out there, I'm going to end up staggering myself, right? There's absolutely no point. If the whole of your team is dead and you can't find an escape route to get back to spawn, just completely just, you know, just get your pistol out and try and attack people on point and die. My Kiriko is really nice here and helped me kind of get back. I did heal her up a little bit. Maybe I should have saved a little bit more because my Kiriko doesn't have her ult yet. But I was just very cautious with her, you know, thingy. I Valk here and I feel as though I could Valk this later. I feel as... Because looking at all these VODs and stuff, I feel like some of my Valks are a little bit preempted. Like I feel as though as soon as like the enemy team get a pick on us, I'm like, oh, they're gonna, what's it called? What I should have really done here is I should have, you know, left it. Nothing I could do there to save that D.Va. This was some really bad situational awareness for me. I didn't know where my Sojourn went because I tunnel visioned on the D.Va. I think I started to panic a little bit because I was like, I've wasted my Valk. You know, I feel as though if you do end up getting in a situation where it's like, oh, I've wasted something, you need to just take a deep breath. It's okay. Just move on. I can res here because, well, I mean, we still have our D.Va alive, right? Our Kiriko has just passed and we do want to try and get this like fully over and done with, right? And we have an overclock. So I'm like, yep, we'll res. I do a backwards GA in order to get away from the res because I don't want to be anywhere near it. I don't think I could really do anything for my D.Va there, so I just end up backing out towards spawn way just to go and help. Once again, I'm trying to play out the LOS as much as possible. Sadly, Tracer ends up falling. And that was just a really bad positional error for me because I should have just purely just gone up onto this high ground straight away and just, you can, if you crouch like all the way in this corner, you literally like, the enemies cannot see you like whatsoever, even if you're this sort of like on this platform and stuff. I should have done that. But instead I decided to hang about over here for whatever reason, and I'm completely in the LOS of them all. But it's fine because we do need to reset anyways. Because I don't know whether they do end up capping it or not. I think they do. Yeah, they do. But I don't think there's really anything I could have done there differently, really. But anyway, so obviously I'm coming back. I'm just kind of just applying my beam to my Kiriko at this point, just trying to get some spam damage in until my Sojourn gets there. And I'm going to follow my Sojourn, right? I'm going to play in this room as much as possible. I've got my D.Va there to block the Widow, so it's alright. I need to rotate there onto this high ground, right? Because this high ground, like, blocks a lot of LOS, but then I can hear the D.Va, right? So I completely just back away over to here, because I don't want any of that smoke from that D.Va. That was a bad GA from me. My GA should have really been a, like, backwards GA, like, around here, maybe. But instead I decided to go upwards. And there is, like, this cute little platform here, to be fair. But it did put me in the LOS for a second. I'm just disengaging from the fight for a second. That should have been a backwards GA. Again. It's the one thing I'm struggling with at the moment is backwards GAs. I know I am. So I'm just trying to damage use my Sojourn whenever she's doing damage. And trying to heal up my D.Va a little bit when she's not. And then they get off the point because of the D.Va. Which, to be fair, I feel as though we win that fight anyways. Even if they do get back on. Like, our D.Va got 2, the Sojourn ends up trading with the other Sojourn, and I'm pretty sure I'd res at that point as well, so... Easy fight.
5, 4, 3,
So now we come to attack again.
1. Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
Once again, I like to use a lot of cancel GAs because it's kind of like self-taught me from like Overwatch 1, cancelling my GA in order to kind of keep myself from going into like bad places of cover, you know. So just helping out my Sojourn once again. Nothing really too different here. I feel as though it was good for me to kind of look out for my Sojourn there instead of like going to find a different route. So I knew she was going to peek me soon. And then here I decided to go with my D.Va, right? Because my D.Va's still wanting to engage and still wanting to pressure the Kiriko out, which is what she does. And I provide a damage boost, even though she's critical there. Because tanks, whenever you see a critical tank, right? Whenever someone goes crit, it's because they're below half HP, right? With someone like a D.Va, I can't remember how much health P... I can't remember how much HP a D.Va has, but I'm pretty sure it's like not a lot. Like, not a lot. Like, it's like 600 or something, I believe. So it's quite a lot. That's what I meant. So if you see a D.Va on critical, obviously make sure you have a look at the health bars and make sure you have your health bars on default, by the way, so you can see everyone's health bars all the time. I know that a couple Kiriko like shots and stuff like that gonna do anything to her. I think it's gonna start weak kind of thing, you know. So it's fine. And then once again, just gonna damage boost for the tidy up. I'm gonna let my Kiriko heal quite a bit because I feel as though Kitsune Rush is a lot more important. Here I'm just using my Widow to get up to the high ground to my Sojourn. I didn't really know what she was doing here, but then I heard the Sojourn behind. So I was like, oh, I want to play this pillar here instead. I want to try and block out as much LOS. And then I'm just going to drop as soon as I can. I'm going to let everyone push in the cart here because we have like 2 on. And me, Sojourn seems to be doing like this cool little flank. So I'm just going to fully follow her. I know what everyone... The reason why I decided to rotate around the back there instead of going around the front is I already know everyone's engaged, right? I know that the Sojourn was coming in here along with the Mercy and the Kiriko. And obviously the D.Va's on point and stuff like that. So it's fine. I'm very, very happy to rotate around there. I do another backwards G in order to just try and help keep up my D.Va. And once again, just damage use my D.Va, even while she's crit. I do heal her up a little bit there, because I checked the scoreboard and I was like, oh, Kiriko's got a little bit more ult percentage than me. I do want my Valk, even because Valk is still a good ultimate to have, right? I heard that my Kiriko got a headshot, so I was like, oh, I want to help her. I damage boost my Widow's grapple up. If you can try to damage boost Widow's grapple ups, it helps them sometimes get in 2 shots while they're grappled, right? So instead of just going for the one random grapple headshot, she could sometimes get 2 out, which is like really handy. I decided to res here, right? And the reason why I decided to res here like straight away is I know that nobody can hit me. Nobody can like harm me in that very scenario, right? Because I know where the Sojourn is. The Sojourn was still round here, so the Sojourn still has to make a full rotation round and then lock onto me. And obviously I didn't know the D.Va was there and everything like that, so I can very much easily get a very good thing. My D.Va is very nice, DMs me out, and I can go back to go and pocket in my Sojourn as soon as I can. I don't have res anymore, which is annoying because my Kiriko sadly does get caught out, so I do end up having to help a lot. This was a mistake that I made, and because I'm trying to get to my Widow here, and she ends up dying. I don't know if I could have got to her in a different way here. Like, I feel as though if I, like, fully drops back from my team and dedicated myself to go and help this Widow, then maybe it would have been better. Because she dies to a body shot railgun that's not damage boosted, which I don't believe can one-shot you at all anymore. So really what I should have done is I should have dropped back fully to help, I think. Because my team's quite healthy, but, you know. I decided to Valk here. I think it's because I knew my Kiriko was getting back and I wanted to hold the position that we had. And Valk is really good to, like, help still keep good positioning with your teams. It's still really good to help apply that pressure, right? I'm looking for that res again, but this time, like, D.Va's still there. And you can see me, I'm, like, stood there, still trying to get it off. I could have maybe done a drop-down res, which is what I realised at the end of that. I was like, maybe I could have dragged it under, but it still would have been very risky, especially with, like, the D.Va shooting me and stuff like that. And now it's very much like, I need to get out. And my D.Va put away her DM, sadly. I feel as though I might have, like, stayed a little bit too long there. Look at Mercy in the corner there. Sorry, that really made me giggle. I feel as though I kind of stayed a little bit too long. I don't know, but it is what it is. Anyway, so once again, main damage is to target Sojourn. Trying to play as much cover as I can. I'm playing inside here because she's doing the overclock above us. I go to help my Widow here because I don't want the same scenario as last time. Plus, my Widow has just got 2 picks. I don't want the same scenario as last time. And I kind of want to, like, help people because my Kiriko isn't there, so I need to kind of help sustain the team until we get the Kitsune rushed up, right? I'm going to go and help my Widow, and then a quick directional G to go back to the point. Sadly, my Sojourner gets picked off by a headshot here, and then I kind of just get stuck because my thought was, oh, I'm going to go to the Sojourn and help her out. Sadly, I can't. The Kitsune comes out, but sadly, we do end up losing this fight. It's just unfortunate, I think, but I feel as though I still played quite well for the rest of this match. I do switch to Lucio to try and get that back, because I don't have a Valk on me. So there's no point me trying to, like, you know, go back as Mercy to try and stall out. I think it's best just to kind of speed out on Lucio. Sadly, we do lose it. But I wasn't mad that I lost this game. Like, because there's certain matches that you think, oh my gosh, I lost that. How did I lose that? All that kind of stuff. That one, it was such a close match. It's such a good match that I feel as though it was really good. And sadly, I can't show the statistics anymore because I've been trying to get the capture the flag stuff recently. So yeah, and then, so I always like to do that whenever I do my VOD reviews, right? I like to talk through what I've done. I like to kind of think to myself, okay, what is it that I did good? What is it that I could have done better, right? So now it's time, once you've kind of finished that VOD review, you need to kind of look at what you did well and what you did wrong, right? So things I did well. I feel as though I managed my beams really well. I feel as though my target priority was really good and like knowing who's to damage boost when and stuff like that. Trying to leave a lot of the healing to the Kiriko whenever I could because Kitsune is a lot stronger than Valk as like an ultimate. Things I need to work on. are my mechanics still. I know my basic mechanics are still rusty, and it was shown in some of like the positional things that I did, like some of my GAs and stuff like that. And my Valks, I think, need a bit of work as well, because at some points I was Valking too early. Like, I feel as though I need to leave it to like the last second in order to, excuse me, need to Valk, basically. I feel like. And then it gives you something to work on then, basically. Because I know a lot of people sit there and be like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I need to do, you know, all this kind of stuff. Honestly, go and have a look at one of your VODs. It doesn't matter what match it is, as long as you didn't have like a thrower or it was like an absolute steamroll of a match, because they're not going to give you a good gauge. Try to get a good even match. Doesn't matter if you win or loss, because even if you win a match, you're still going to get stuff from it. Like, it is better if you lose a match, right? Because you can kind of see, okay, were any of the team fights my fault? You know, whereas I think it's a lot harder with like a win to do so, right? And it feels like you learn a lot more from losses as well. But there you go. That's the first round review I've done in a while. I don't know how good it was. I kind of just like rambled for like an hour. If it wasn't too good, then I might just re-record it. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed like some of my gameplay. It wasn't the most exciting thing because the majority of it was hiding around walls against a keyboard and mouse widow and was all of his own controller, which is really fun. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of this, whether you want me to do more. I am looking to kind of VOD review some other like some of your guys' VODs sometime in the future. Obviously, I might have to wait till like I finish my uni stuff and everything to get it done. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!